Get on board. We'd love to hear from you. Any questions? It's true. He knows it's true. It's the only exercise he ever gets. Yeah. The only time I saw him, in fact, I went out with him on a smoke break there at the Great American Trucking Show.
He said that's the only time he gets a chance to breathe heavies when he goes to smoke.
These days, yes, that is true. 800-288-9227. In fact, let's get right to the phones, and now I've got a couple more questions about the idling laws there in Texas. 800-288-9227.
Let's go to Sean in Washington State. Sean, hi. You're on the Midnight Radio Network, and you're on with Trooper Dial. Welcome. Hi.
Hi. I was asking, I was coming out of Arizona up into California, and I got stopped on a scale, and the DOT guy came out, climbed up on the truck, and said, "Show me your logbook." And I had made a mark in my logbook suggesting that I was going to drive, and I talked to him about it, but I didn't want to get rude or anything. But anyway, he didn't write me the ticket, but I thought I had a certain amount of time before, you know, if a trooper wanted to look at my book, I had the right to 5 minutes or so to get it up to snuff, right?
No.
No. Okay.
Must be. So how far up to date does it have to be, Trooper Dial?
What you have to do, Sean, is you have to be current to your last change.
Now, technically, wouldn't this last change be being pulled over? Is that not the last?
No.
So you're talking about the last change before that,
right? Okay. Whatever line he was on prior to him starting to drive.
Yeah.
Whether it was line 1, line 2, or line 4, he has to bring the mark to the driving line.
So there is a requirement in the book somewhere that you have to make up and down lines.
Yes.
Huh, I couldn't find it anywhere.
Well, no, I'm sorry. No, you don't have to make up and down lines. But what you have to do is you have to start your line, your horizontal line. No vertical lines are required, but you have to start a horizontal line at your duty status change location.
So when you're going from on duty not driving, like at a fuel stop,
right?
And you're fixing to go out on the road,
right? As soon as you
to make a mark showing you're gonna be driving.
Yes.
You're supposed to log what you're gonna do, not what you already did do.
Right. So what you have to do is, if you, in the instance where you choose not to draw vertical lines, you have to go from your on duty not driving up to the driving line and actually make a notation or make some type of mark that says, okay, I am on the driving line.
All right. Because we had a little bit of a debate at the driver's room about that, because one of the guys said, well, you know, I went to take off from the fuel island, and the starter took a dump on me, and I was there for half an hour. And I had a mark in my book saying I was driving.
Right.
Because I anticipated that I was going to be driving, and now I got a mark saying I was driving.
Right. And see, this is where, by virtue of you choosing not to make vertical lines, this is where it's going to come back and bite you. Because if you had chosen to make the vertical mark, then you could go back and actually X that line or use whiteout to avoid that line, and then whenever 30 minutes, an hour later, once the starter's fixed, you can now make your vertical mark again, and that indicates that you are on the driving line.
If he didn't make that vertical mark, could he just put on duty, not driving right below that, and then make the notation saying that the starter went out and he immediately stopped after starting to drive?
What he would have to do is just either use whiteout or the X's to cover up whatever little mark that he made on the driving line, and then just go back down to the on-duty not driving line and just extend the line on out to whatever time he decides to go back driving.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sean? Okay.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. We do appreciate the call at 800-288-9227. I know it gets confusing out there because we've always said on this program, log it as you do it, which kind of means, to a lot of drivers, log it as it's been done. But in this case, when you start driving, And I guess maybe that would be the only change. You're actually marking as you're doing it, as you're about to do it, and you technically haven't started doing it because no one wants you to fill out your logbook while you're driving.
Correct.
You're just going to make a note saying, okay, it's 12:15 a.m., I'm changing my status right now.
Right. And that's where those individuals that choose not to draw the vertical lines, that's where it can come back and bite them.
Right.
Because the last mark you got is down on the driving, or on the on-duty not driving, and there's no mark up here on the driving line to show that you are driving.
Right.
Whereas if you choose or had chosen to draw the vertical line, then all you have to do is draw it from on-duty to driving, and you don't have to draw any line to the right until you get to your next stop, or if you're stopped en route.
Okay. All right, and thank you for the call. We do appreciate that. 800-288-9227, drivers, if you have a question about hours of service, your logbook, or any other regulatory item. If you got a question for Trooper Dial, this is the time to get on board on Ask the Law. The Texas idling law, again, the exemption went away that as of September 1st that said you could stay in this, you could idle as long as you were in the sleeper berth getting your required rest. Well, we now have from the TECQ, thanks to your work, we have a list of the cities and counties that will be enforcing this rule. But we don't, my question is, we don't have any information as to an update, and we don't know how the updates are going to come along. We don't know how they will be posted, correct?
Other than going back and actually looking weekly, monthly, to see if any additional cities have been added.
Right, okay. And again, that would probably be through the TECQ website.
Right.
But I guess, trying to think like a driver, if you look at this list, let's say you got this list from the TECQ website, and you look down and then you've made a note as to what cities are and are not on this, what counties are and are not on this, then you're kind of planning your rest. And we should also note that the enforcement only takes place each year, April 1st through October 31st.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So right now, because 2009, because this exemption ended as of September 1st, this will only go through the end of October for 2009.
Correct.
After that, it will not be enforced anywhere. In fact, will it not be a rule?
There's some exceptions to that.
Really?
And under the TECQ rules, if it's within, what is it, 1,000 feet of a school, and I forget what the other location is, but there is a no idling if you're within 1,000 feet of a school or something like that,
right,
year round. But if you're not within that 1,000 feet, after August the 31st of each year and April the 1st of each year,
well, October 31st.
October 31st.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry. October 31st of each year to April the 1st of each year, then a driver can idle.
Okay. All right. To stay away from school.
Right.
Is school, was that only exemption in that area?
There was something else, and I don't exactly remember what it was, but it was mainly the area where school kids are going to be.
Right, yeah, okay. 800-288-9227. We do have more questions coming in by phone. We're back to Ask the Law in just a moment. If you want to get on board right now, you can do so again. 800-288-9227. Send us a text at 68683. Make MRN the first word, and we're back to Ask the Law next on the Midnight Radio Network.
It's the Midnight Radio Network and Ask the Law, 800-288-9227. Gary McNamara, Eric Harley.
Retired Senior Trooper Monty Dial. The Texas Highway Patrol is here at 800-288-9227.